Cruise news time. Well, yesterday something happened that hasn't happened in a long time. Cruise stocks went up a little bit. Cruise stocks from Carnival Corporation, Royal Caribbean Group, and Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings. And I think it gives us a good moment to talk about cruise stocks and talk about how, when it comes to those lines, how you could save up to $250 on every one of your cruises. I mean, every one of them. Cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates. Well, yeah, today, just going to briefly talk about cruise stocks. First and foremost, let me say this. Let me give the caveat emptor. Let me give the big warning. Playing the stock market is a form of gambling, in my opinion. You don't know what the stock prices are going to do. You may invest some money, and all of a sudden you lose that money. And so take all of this with a grain of salt. If you are not savvy when it comes to the stock market, be very careful with your money because, as many folks have learned over the last few months, the money that you've invested, well, it could lose a lot of value. I know a lot of people that are down 25% of their value in the market because of the market right now. So be very careful. But I do want to talk about cruise stocks because there is an interesting benefit to people who own cruise stocks. But first, let's talk about the cruise news story. Yesterday, there was a little bit of a rebound in the cruise stocks, primarily Carnival, Royal, Norwegian, and very minor. These are the numbers that the market closed at yesterday. Carnival closed out at $9.84 a share. That's 32 cents up from the day previous. Royal Caribbean closed out at $39.69. That's up 20% from the day previous. And Norwegian closed out at $11.73 yesterday. That's up 61 cents from the day previous. All three of those numbers are way off the high number of those cruise stocks pre-pandemic. And so, again, if you've been in the market during the shutdown, all of that stuff, you've seen these cruise stock numbers fluctuate. There was a time just not too long ago where Carnival was in the 20s, and now it's less than $10. And so it is a good time to talk about the benefit that you can get from buying cruise stock. For example, so right now, if you spent $1,000 today and bought Carnival, assuming it doesn't open at more than $10, say you spent $1,000 and you bought 100 shares of Carnival at $10 each, you would be eligible for a benefit on every cruise going forward because you would own 100 shares of Carnival stock. This is going to be true for Royal Caribbean. This is going to be true for Norwegian. The magic number for stock ownership is 100 shares. So if you're in a position to own 100 shares of cruise stock, you will get some benefits. And the benefits are almost identical, but I'm going to run through each of the benefits so you know exactly what you are getting. If you own 100 shares of Carnival stock, depending on your length of sailing, you are going to get an onboard credit. And so if your sailing is 6 days or less, you get a $50 onboard credit. If your sailing is between 7 and 13 days, you get a $100 onboard credit. And if your sailing is 14 days or longer, you get a $250 onboard credit. This is every cruise. Claiming that benefit is not that hard. You can work with your travel agent. You can work with customer service for the cruise line. Now, there are some cruise bookings that are exempt from getting this benefit. I'm going to tell you all about that, plus the benefits for Royal and Norwegian. But first, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Thank you in advance. All right, let me tell you the benefit for Royal Caribbean. It's going to sound very familiar. If you have a sailing of 5 nights or less, a little bit different, you get a $50 onboard credit. For sailings 6 to 13 nights on Royal, you get a $100 onboard credit. And then for sailings 14 days or more, $250 onboard credit. I think it's important to note that you have to apply these onboard credits to your booking. You can't transfer this over to somebody else. So whoever the stockholder is, it's going to be that cabin, that stateroom that gets the onboard credit. And then if we look at Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, very similar to the other two, for sailing 6 days or less, $50 onboard credit. Sailing 7 to 14 days, $100 onboard credit. And then to get the $250 onboard credit, your sailing has to be 15 days or longer. So Norwegian, to get the big money, you got to have 15 days instead of 14 days. Now, like I said, there's going to be a few bookings that are exempt from this process if you get a travel agent rate. Certain discounted rates, casino offers possibly, you're not going to get this. So if you're doing this, again, you got to work with the cruise line, you got to work with your travel professional and say, look, I've got a casino offer and I've got a stockholder benefit and I can get a discount through this group. You want to work with somebody that can navigate all of that. Again, customer service for the cruise line or a travel professional. Hey, look, everybody, it's Jenny B.
Hello.
Hard at work. Jenny, do you know how to help people get their stock benefit?
Yes.
How about Team Jenny?
Team Jenny.
All right. I might tell people about you. Is that okay?
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Actually, people just want to see you. They miss you, Jenny B.
Well, thank you.
Send some love to the Loca fam.
I love you guys.
Yeah, Team Jenny can help with the stock benefit. So shameless plug here. If you need help with your travel, if you want the expertise of people that have booked thousands of cruises, reach out to Team Jenny at jbarnette at expediacruises.com. So should you do this? Should you not do this? Again, keeping in mind that the stock market is a risk, what would it take to get a return on your investment, as it were? Let's just say that to get into Carnival, you need to spend $1,000. Let's just call those shares $10 each. To get 100 shares, you need $1,000. And so to recoup that $1,000, you would need to go on at least 4 cruises that are 14 days or longer. If you've got that coming up, you're going to get your $1,000 back in onboard credit. Or if you're normally a cruiser that's somewhere less than 14, but more than 7, you're going to get that back $100 at a time. So if you're going to go on 10 cruises over the next few years, you could recoup that, and you still own the stock. And so, again, you could be in a great situation right now. And look, I'm not a financial expert. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just saying that, hopefully these stocks will return to their value. And so 9 is pretty low. Below 10 is pretty low. I think it got to 5 at one point during the worst part of the pandemic. But it's pretty low right now is what I'm saying. So if you get in right now, potentially in a few years, I don't think it's going to come back in a month, but in a few years you might see some really nice return on that. So if you're going to cruise a lot and you could use that benefit, there you go. All right, caveat emptor number 2. These programs can change, so they renew them every couple years. I believe Royal's program is going into 2023, so that's the other thing that you have to be cautious about. If you're trying to get a return on investment over a 2 or 3 year cycle, these programs could change. So caveat emptor number 2. I just want to put that in there so you don't get caught by surprise if you're trying to put a strategy together. I think most people knew about the stock benefit. Let me know if this information is helpful, and I'll try to share more of it. But yeah, that's the show today. Time for you to sound off. Leave a comment below. You can do me a solid by hitting the like button. And if you don't want to do me a solid, then I'll be forced to punish you. Your punishment is this. You are going to go and purchase stock today, and immediately the stock price will decrease, as it has for me the last 3 times I bought stock. I'm averaging down. I think everybody, well, you might know what that means or not. All you got to do is hit the like button and we can all make money. I can't guarantee that, but I am the Punisher. It's Tony for Lido, Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.